Hello, whiskey enthusiasts. Today, I've got a travel exclusive bottle for you, and I've wanted to try this for a very long time. This is Talisker Dark Storm, and if you're in the U.S., you can only get this if you're traveling overseas. I've never had it, but I am a general fan of Talisker. In fact, Talisker 18 is one of my top favorite scotches to drink. So I'm really excited to get a chance to sample this one. Right off, I can tell you that this is a gentler nose than I expected. You can taste the peat, or smell the peat, but it's remarkably subdued. It's balanced very well with vanilla and biscuit, just a tiny bit of fruit. Trying to place the fruit. There's a little tiny bit of raisin, but most of it's more like a pale stone fruit, like apricots. There's some salt. And the style of peat in the nose is just a soft, smoldering fire. Nothing intense. I believe that this must be bourbon cask. I haven't looked it up. I don't see a lot of influence of any kind of sherry casks in it. And I'm almost certain that the casks must be American oak, because the French and Spanish oak, I think, would impart something different here. The fruit note turns more citrus in the palate. I get lemon, a little bit of orange. That mixes really good with this peat. The peat is a little bit more pronounced in the palate than it is in the nose, but I still don't see it being as far peat forward as some other expressions. I expected this to be a little bolder than it is. It's actually, for a Talisker, quite delicate. Again, the peat is rather kind of like a smoldering fire. It's not meaty. The brine, the saltiness, enters in. I still get a little bit of that fruitiness, but it does turn, like I said, more towards a citrus note. I don't so much get the apricot anymore. Get some wood, some pepper, definitely some pepper, and some tobacco in the end of the palate. Towards the end of the palate, the peat turns a little more char, gets a little stronger, and the peat really makes its presence felt in the finish. So when you get to the finish, you're going to get a lot of the peat. Some of the lemon will carry over, and the oak comes out. And the peat and the oak are what stays with you the longest. This is really well balanced. I would give this to someone who was a beginner at peat, that knew they kind of liked it but weren't ready for some of the really strong stuff. Somebody that you wouldn't want to give an Ardbeg or a Lafroig to. somebody that isn't quite ready for the strength of many Islas. I forgot to mention on the palate there's that biscuit note, or kind of a malty graininess that shows through in the palate also. But to be honest, the citrus overwhelms it, and I didn't notice it until a few sips in. All in all, there's a lot to recommend this. I probably wouldn't go out just in dire need of searching it out at duty frees, but it is a solid malt and it's a little different from other Taliskers. I think it's worth giving a try too. Sometimes I forget to give a rating. I've thought of it this time and I ought to give a rating. Now we use a WBSE, we use a true 100 scale, and that means that a 50 to a 60 is a palatable, okay whiskey. 80 to 90 is an exceptional whiskey, and 91 and above is just extraordinary to the point that you just must try it if you get the chance. This, I think, is probably about a 78 or a 79. It's not something to chase after, but I don't think very many people would ever regret having it in their cabinet. It's a very solid whiskey, and putting it in the high 70s puts it solidly in the very good category. Way better than average, that's for sure. Hope that was informative. Go out and get you some whiskey.